Hello.
Morning. So, God, internet just.
Good morning.
We had a power cut here at this end then, and everything just went off on me.
Well,
Wow.
that's what I was wondering. I was like, I think something's happening in France.
Oh, that's
a nightmare.
Yeah, typical. Morning, Larry. Nice to meet you, sir. How are you?
Same here, Dave.
It's typical French, that, I'm afraid. 1 minute you can be sat here, the next minute, no, it's awful. It's because we're on the coast here,
Right.
for whatever reason.
Gotta
with the
be ready for anything.
Oh yeah, you can be sat watching the television in the nice, having a nice
Okay.
evening, lights
How's
on
my
and everything.
voice level?
Yeah, next thing, boom, gone.
Yeah.
Everything's off.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I was listening. I was like,
Hi,
wait,
Chris.
you weren't listening to Shania Twain. Good morning, Larry. Good morning, world. Good morning, everyone.
sunshine. You are my
Yes.
sunshine, Chris.
Oh, thank
Because
you.
there ain't
Even though
any
the
out
sun
the
isn't out
window.
yet. Right. So, welcome everyone, and I am excited to bring Larry on today. And Larry and I met through the One Tribe magazine that we both write for, and we're both part of the group of people that are really trying to push this magazine forward and make it into like a media deal. So I met Larry through that, and Larry has an amazing story, an amazing life, and some really awesome drive and purpose behind what he does. And so I wanted to bring Larry on today and share him with the world. It sounds like we've got quite the audience this morning, so I'm super excited. Rosemary shared that there's quite a few people listening. So Larry, would you do the honor of introducing yourself a bit, and then we're going to dive in to more of your life and your show, The Larry Show, and talk about some purpose. So Larry, what's up?
What's up? Well, Larry Rosenberg, that was my birth name and still is. And I started out my career as an academic, and I now call myself a recovering intellectual. And 4 years ago, at the age of 71, I found out what I want to be when I grow up. And I'm now an inspirational entertainer.
What does that mean?
That means that I found out what my gift in life is. And it's the coming together of two forces that define me. One is that I've always been a seeker of wisdom, of spirituality and consciousness, new paradigm, and also the new thought in business and the world. And then the other stream coming into it is that I am a natural entertainer. I had been a professor, a trainer, a coach, a consultant, but now I discovered that I am an entertainer. I love to sing and dance, and the future of explaining consciousness, according to several experts, is that workshops are fine, but a lot of people are ODing on workshops. And now is the era of using entertainment to get the inspirational message across.
Oh, that sounds so beautiful and fantastic. And here's the really cool thing about you and I, Larry, is we are actually in the same time zone. And all the people that I've had on the show have been, in different, continents. And sometimes when Dave and I are on together, we've had Australia, America, France. And for you and I to be in the same time zone, that's the closest that I've gotten. And so there's a possibility and an opportunity that one day I may be able to come to Arizona and see your show. So that's exciting.
Or I will come to Denver and perform my show for you and your friends.
There you go. So I'm going to take a quick little song break, and when we come back, I want to dive right into, like the beginning of your life and how you've gotten to this point.
Excellent.
So I think we're still on tap to listen to Ollie Murs' Dance With Me Tonight, but if I'm wrong, Dave, let me know.
No, you're doing well. We're bang on for that.
We are banging on. All right, let's go to Ollie Murs, and we'll be right back. That song makes me dance.
Does it?
Yes.
About time you got off your bed there. After o'clock in the morning.
That's so funny.
Okay.
Yes, Larry is back, and so, Larry, I'm excited because I want to hear about, you just said something about like 4 years ago you discovered this purpose, but what like, tell us your story before then. You have a long, amazing, life ahead of, the last 4 years. So, and then I want to talk about what got you to that 4 years.
Okay. I look at the first 20 years of my life as initially defining who I am. That's what my parents, what society, all the groups I belong to put me as. And I was a Philadelphian. This is 1943 to early 1960s. I was Jewish. I was an intellectual. I was an American. I was straight, at least straight acting. I knew down deep that I wasn't. And I was after success. And success basically means position and money. And guess what? I was not happy. But I went forward because this is what I was supposed to do, and this is what I knew. And then if we fast forward to where I am now, I'm in Sedona, Arizona, very beautiful and spiritual town in the west of the U.S. I'm now universal spirituality. I'm okay with Judaism, but it's not big enough and deep enough for me. And I'm an inspirational entertainer, as I said before. And I come from the heart as well as the head. For 50 years, my heart was not that engaged. And from American, I am now global. It helped that I traveled for business and pleasure to 30 countries in my life. And I lived in Tokyo, Japan, and worked there for 10 years. And I now am out of the closet. I am gay. I accept it. It's fine with me. It's who I am. And I've gone from success to having a mission in life. And that's what we're going to talk about mostly today, the mission. And in between, I was a professor at New York University, lived in New York City, then on to the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, got married, got divorced, ended up in Japan with the University of Maryland, retired, had a health crisis at the age of 60, concentrated on holistic health, transformed my life, moved to Sedona, Arizona 4 years ago. It's the perfect place for me. Started taking singing lessons, giving concerts to friends, and then discovered who I am and who I want to be in my life, an inspirational entertainer. It's sort of act 3, primary career, retirement, and a mission in life. And so I am jazzed up with my purpose in life, passion for life, and I have a mission, and I'm going to leave a legacy. I'm going to leave this planet, humanity, a better place. That is my goal. That's what I do every day.
That's fantastic. So, Larry, can I talk to you a little bit about your mindset 4 years ago when you've made this sort of discovery? You moved to Arizona, and what's going on in your mind? Were you desperate? Talk to me about that process.
I wouldn't say desperate because Sedona is such a comfortable place, the beauty of nature, the slower pace. I had a lot of friends, and I'm a creative guy, so I was always doing things from part-time consulting to volunteering to art projects to exploring spirituality. But I was drifting, and I was drifting toward death, however many years I have left. And life was okay, but okay is not good enough for me. There's something in me that wants to make a statement and wants to be creative, wants to engage with people, wants to change the world. And there I was on my 71st birthday, May 5th, giving a concert to my friends' birthday party. I had rented a theater to do it. And the feedback that I got and the feeling I had inside, this is giving concerts with inspirational messages from the heart and singing songs that lift people up. and that was Broadway songs, Elvis Presley songs, and the Beatles songs, mainly. And the next day I found a coach, a performance coach, and we started. She said to me, I see you doing a one-man show about your life. And I realized that I needed to examine my life. I needed to extract the lessons that I've learned. And along the way, I have acquired a lot of wisdom. And I want to share that wisdom with people. Modesty says I'm still seeking it. But I had certain messages that my life had taught me that I thought were relevant for others. And after 4 years, I now have 170 testimonials on my website, thelarryshow.com. And they say that people realize my life is different than theirs, but it's the same dynamics about relationships, about profession, about the meaning of life, about do we coast with what we were taught initially in our lives, or do we transform? Do we grow? Do we develop? And do we create a life that is genuinely ours, that is authentically real and valid and exciting and expressive for us? And that is what I am here to do, to spread the word.
Yes, we've talked a lot, and
yes.
I'm all about, people sharing their story, and everyone has a story, and everyone's story matters. And like I have expressed many times here on the show, on my Facebook page, to my Instagram followers, however you can express that story, not only can it inspire others, it can inspire yourself to do more, to be more. And that's what I see here. And I can't wait to dig into the show after we listen to Meghan Trainor and No Excuses, and I want to dive in. I'm so excited. So we'll do that as soon as we get back.
Super.
There is no excuse this morning, afternoon, evening.
Yes. See, that's the
Time
issue.
is an illusion.
Exactly.
We're proving it.
Exactly, that's the issue. We've got so many countries tuned in with different time zones. Nobody, if I say good morning to people or give the time out, straight away I'm getting emails saying they're all panicking, thinking, what time is it?
What's reality?
Yep, I learned that from you, Dave. Like, you have to expand your whole. You've got the world, so you have to be conscious of that. So woohoo!
I know, it's frightening, isn't it, when you think how many countries? I mean, places like Brunei, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, China, Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai. It's just ridiculous. There's over 100. What we got on now? 119 that are tuned on this afternoon.
Wow, the human family is everywhere.
Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Right, I'm going to put my hands behind me head, my feet on my desk, and listen to you too.
Awesome. So, welcome back, Larry. Larry,
thank you.
We listened to you talk about your life and up to this point, and you've created this remarkable way to express not only your story and your life, but it inspires others, and you can relate to others because it is true and authentic from your heart. So now is the time I get to ask you to tell us about the Larry Show and just the dynamics of that. And I can't wait to hear this. And by the way, there might be singing. I've heard there might be some singing involved, Dave, so get prepared. Awesome.
Is there? That'll do for me.
Potentially.
Okay.
Right, so let me get my drums ready.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay.
I can't drum to that.
My, oh my, what a wonderful day. Hey, look me over, lend me an ear, fresh out of clover, mortgaged up to here. There are 30 scenes in my show, 90 minutes, The Liberation of Larry, keyword liberation. Going from the old me to discovering and creating a new life, a fuller life, greater potential, recognizing my gift. And 30 scenes and there are 16 songs from matched to the scenes, and some of them are they're mainly about transitions in my life and discoveries, and what I spent the first half of my life learning to put on masks. That I'm happy, that I'm successful, that I know what human relations are all about, and they were masks. And then the second half, especially the third part of my life, I've been taking the masks off. And what really I see is that people want to people are realizing that they are wearing masks too. And that they want to take them off. Not all at once, but take some of them off. And I'm the poster boy. I'm the role model for taking them off. And when I've taken my last mask off, and I end the show with, I am what I am. I am my own special creation, La Cage aux Folles. And when the last mask of mine is off, people see a mirror. They see into the mirror. They see themselves. And I didn't realize that when I was putting the show together. I was telling my story and entertaining. But I created a vehicle that people can go inside, can be introspective, can laugh, can cry, can ooh and ah, stamp their feet, sing along with me. It's not quite the Rocky horror show, but it is the Larry show. And then I often do a question and answer period at the end, and people start. Yes, they ask questions about the show, past, future, but they start talking about themselves and how they identified with the show. And in the future, that will lead to workshops and people who want to do the Mary show or the Robert show or the Jasmine show, and do a video or do a performance. One woman told me that she's got over addictions, and she wants to do a show on how she got into addictions, what was life during that terrible period, and then how she got out of it and how she helps other people get out of it. So whether it's on video, on YouTube, or whether people get up on the stage or in front of an audience, or even just in front of their family. So I'm trying to make the world safe for people to tell their story, to tell it in detail, to tell it real and dramatic, and engage audiences, whoever the audience is, from family to community to global. I'm ready to do the Larry show in a stadium or in an electronic ways, live streaming to many people. And it's to get the message out. And in a nutshell, my message is, how do you heal your life? How do you let go of the past? Recognize limitations of the past, what no longer serves you, and release it. Healing.
Yes.
The second one is growing. And how do you grow? You start by recognizing your talents and your skills. But then finally, at some point, and me, it happened in my 70s, you recognize your gift.
Yeah.
What were we put on this life for? What has God, or whatever name you want to use for divinity or the universe, what has God endowed us with to make a contribution from deep who we are, from our access to source? And that defines our potential. I know what my potential looks like, and now I have to work it. I have to take my gift, inspirational entertainer, as I call it, and get out there and entertain, and get the inspiration out there.
Yes.
And the third one is sharing, which I already hinted at. So healing, growing, sharing with the world. A lot of people shared with me as I grew up throughout history, as well as during my this lifetime. And now it's my turn. And I believe each of us, at some point, when you realize what it is you can share, your gift, then I believe there's a implicit obligation and a potential for great joy and love and in sharing with other people. And that's what I want to encourage.
Very, very awesome. And, we just have, a little over 20 minutes or just about 20 minutes. And I want to take us to a quick song, and then I want to dive into that mission and that purpose a little bit more. Tell people where they can find you and all those sorts of things. So we're going to go out and listen to Westlife, Hello, My Love, and we'll be right back. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Yes, I love this music today. I'm just going to plug a little bit. February is of course, the month to celebrate love, whether you're into Valentine's Day or not. It's an opportunity to celebrate love. And every time there's a song about love, it just jazzes me, and it re-grounds me in my purpose. And so thank you, Dave, for picking that song, whether it was intentional or not. Don't know. It's all good.
Part of my job. It's part of my job. That's all it is.
Well, I give you lots of accolades because you do your job so fantastic. So thank you. So Larry.
Love fest.
Yes. I'm a squishy, mushy person, and I think that's what's so awesome about having folks like you, Larry, on the show. It really is. It really does. You and I talked a little bit during the break, and there's a reason why you and I connected. There's a reason why Dave and I connected, and it's that purpose and that mission in life to make the world a better place, however you possibly can. So let's talk a little bit more about your mission. I know you talked a little bit about it before we got to Westlife. Talk more about that. What's your purpose?
Okay. Well, we're getting older, and there's a inevitability to getting older. But I have concluded that the best way to grow older is to grow younger. And what I mean by that is that we keep our vitality going, and we stay engaged, and we stay active. And so I look at the keys at this point. I'm in the last third of my life, and but even if you want to start early in the first third or the second third, look for a mission in life. Look for something that is so important and compelling, that comes from your heart, that comes from your soul. And second one is let your inner child out. I sang when I was young, and then my voice changed in my early teens, and people said, Larry, you sing lousy. And I finally, in my 70s, said, I love to sing. I mean, singing leaked out of me all my life, and I could sing better in Japanese and in French than I could in English. And I realized it was psychological. And so I took singing lessons, and now the joy of singing, the magic, the healing, all the great attributes of singing, I have access to and I share. The third thing is keep hanging out with younger people. A lot of people in their 70s are hanging out with their generation, and that's fine. But look for people who are younger, vitality, all the learning that's happening with technology and freedom of expression in this world. And then the fourth one is I think fundamental, and I call it the health practices. And that means, are you eating the right food? Are you exercising? Quality of sleep? And a spiritual practice, so that we can tune into the dimensions of higher consciousness. So there's 65 million baby boomers in America.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can reach with my message 1/10 of 1%, that's 65,000 people. 1/100th of 1%, that's 6,500 people. If I can reach them about clean up your act, healing in the last third, find your goals, your mission, your gift, and share it out there. Live your full potential and make your maximum contribution to the world. If I can do that, I will have changed the world. That's my formula. And my goal, one of my goals is to be on Broadway in the next 4 years.
Nice.
Just for a month. I don't want to be in New York too much. I love my Sedona. And I also love to travel. And right now, I won't mention the country, but I'm in serious conversations with a producer in a foreign country outside of the U.S. and about franchising the Larry Show. That means taking my story and my message and having a local person play me, and the primary language in this country that I'm negotiating with is not English, and so the show would be translated into their language, and the humor would have to be adjusted. But otherwise, it would be my story. And then have discussions afterwards with the audience and some local experts on how to grow older well. And it's all about dialogue. It's all about having dialogues at a higher level of consciousness, at a higher level of energy, and that's why entertainment and joy. Somebody called me the Minister of Joy. I love that title because that activates me. And joy and love and peace are contagious. And I want to spread that pro-ease rather than to counter all the dis-ease that's around.
Right. Oh, that sounds like a fantastic mission. And, that was one of my questions, was what's up for you next, and you've answered that. So how can people find you, and how can people get a hold of you and have conversations with you and all that kind of good jazz?
Okay. Well, if you remember the Larry Show, .com is my website. And that's the full story and what's coming next. Also, I have a Facebook page, The Larry Show, at The Larry Show, and that is very current. But people can email me, Larry at thelarryshow.com. And if there's a festival, if there's a organization is having a special event, if there's some community fundraising, I will waive my fee and just go for expenses. If I can make a contribution, if I can help people and organizations, and I'm willing to travel. I love to travel, and willing to share my show. And on various media, if anybody wants to invite me, I am ready to have a serious conversation, have a joyful conversation. And I run into people who are doing something similar to what I'm doing. One person shows. They're in their 60s, 70s, 80s even. It used to be when we were tribal hunters and early civilizations, the storyteller, the role of the storyteller was sacred, and that's how we got people to guide their lives and to look deeper and to get the most out of life.
Right.
So this in this media, hyper media era. The story is king.
Yes. So
Or queen.
yes. So quick question, just out of curiosity, out of these 30 countries you lived in, what's your favorite?
Okay. A slight correction. I visited 30 countries.
Visited.
I only lived in Japan, but for
Gotcha.
10 years.
Mm-hmm.
10 years. So therefore, by default, there's some spiritual connection with Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I arrived there when I was 28 for 3 weeks, and I connected profoundly, visited 13 times, created a business, a lecture business. At the time, my theme was marketing, and then it became leadership, and then it became intercultural communication and globalization, localization. And now I'm hoping to go back to Japan one of these days and do the Larry Show. Japan has the largest percentage of people over 60 of any country in the world. And there are people over there who say, well, Larry, your approach is American and very personal, but it's also universal. There are themes that, if translated and interpreted into Japanese, can get Japanese elderly people to think about their life, their contribution. Why are we here? It's a very spiritual question, but it's a very practical one too.
Right. So, I guess there's this journey of life, and you hear many times, like, you don't want to be at this end of the last third of your life saying, I regret not doing X, Y, and Z. How would you guide someone with that thought frame? Like, I don't want to be there. I don't want to do that.
I have this conversation with many people. As I said before, I'm a poster boy, a role model for how I have rebooted my life, revitalized, reinvented my life. And people think, well, what would I do if I wanted to do something like that? What would I do? So first, people have to ask the question, what is my mission? What is my message? What have I learned? And it was only when I was writing the show that I did I was going to say hard work, but it wasn't hard. It just flowed out of me how my life was the hero's journey. Unsatisfied growing up in the city of Philadelphia, I wanted to explore the world. When I moved to Japan in the 90s, I said, I've gotten as far from Philadelphia as I can get. And it was the Philadelphia of the 40s and 50s and early 60s. Philadelphia's a fine city today. I know. But I had to figure out what was authentic to me. And this is not an easy process because we are layered and burdened with so many definitions by other people, individuals, parents, family, and society as a whole. And to figure out, who am I? And spiritual question number one, why am I here? Who am I? And it's thought, and that's the work where it begins.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, now how do I share it? How do I share it? And with me, it was a one-man show, the Liberation of Larry show. And now through through travel, and doing the show in other countries and my plan to franchise it. I want to go back to Australia. I visited many times and want to find a bloke over there who wants to play Larry. They have an expression, as lucky as Larry. It was about a boxer 100 years ago who was very successful and very happy. Well, let's get that. We need positive messages. We need positive role models. And words are fine, and a lot of masters of words around and a lot of words around. But it's very powerful to have role models.
Yeah.
To say, this guy did it. this woman did it. Look what they're doing with life. Jane Fonda is I'm a fan of hers, and she uses the term Act 3. What's your Act 3? And Larry's show is my Act 3. And I want to spread the word. You grab people with entertainment, and then the dialogue comes through a workshop or a coaching session or whatever. Or a book. I'm going to be putting a book together. You mentioned before One Tribe magazine. Well, a lot of the things I've said, I put into articles in One Tribe. Mm-hmm. And I think I have 10 articles that I can put together in a book. Transforming yourself in the last third of life. That's a cumbersome title, but something like that. Reinventing yourself. It's a methodology that we have to get out there, and an excitement and an exuberance, and till the last day, whenever my last day is, I want to be spreading the good word.
Fantastic. Larry, I can't thank you enough for coming on today and sharing your journey and sharing your life and sharing all this wisdom with us and the world. And I am lucky to know you and have you part of my community. And now the world knows a little bit more about Larry. And I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for everyone that gets to have a moment of your time and the lives that you're going to touch with this. And I think, people can ask you questions. They can email you, and please, everyone, follow Larry. Fantastic energy, fantastic gentleman. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate you getting up at 3:30 in the morning to do this with me here in Colorado. And we have one last song. It's one of my favorites. It's Frank Sinatra's "Come Fly With Me." Dave, you're awesome. I can't thank you enough.
Wow, what a song to end with. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Chris, for everything you do, and having me on and having other guests on that are inspiring the world.
Fantastic. I'm so excited.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot, Larry, again. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you, Dave.
And all the best. Take care.
You're the pillar.
All right. Talk to you soon.